Who is the Antichrist, Dajjal? A deep dive into Christian and Islamic prophecies. The concept of the Antichrist, known as Dajjal in Islam, holds a significant place in both Christian and Islamic eschatology. In both religions, this figure is seen as a powerful force of evil that will emerge before the end times, attempting to lead humanity astray through deception and false claims to divinity. Let's examine who the Antichrist or Dajjal is, according to Christian and Islamic prophecies, exploring the differences and similarities between these two perspectives on this apocalyptic figure. The Antichrist in Christianity. The term Antichrist appears in the New Testament, primarily in the letters of John, where it signifies one who denies Jesus as the Christ and opposes God's truth. In Christian belief, the Antichrist is considered a person or entity who will arise in the last days to challenge Jesus and deceive the world. According to the book of Revelation, this Antichrist figure will perform miracles and wonders, winning the trust and worship of many, while simultaneously persecuting believers who remain faithful to Jesus. In Christian eschatology, the Antichrist's appearance is a signal of the approaching end times, and his defeat is closely tied to the second coming of Jesus, who will ultimately destroy him and his followers. Christian tradition holds that the Antichrist will pretend to bring peace to the world, only to reveal a tyrannical and cruel nature, leading believers to see his defeat as a triumph of good over evil and as a restoration of divine justice. 2. Dajjal in Islamic eschatology. In Islamic prophecy, the figure known as Dajjal also plays a central role in end-time scenarios. The term Dajjal originates from Arabic and refers to someone who deceives or conceals the truth. Islamic sources, including the Hadith, sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad, describe Dajjal as a deceiver who will claim to be the Messiah and lead people away from faith in Allah. The Dajjal is said to possess supernatural powers, including the ability to perform miracles that will deceive many people, particularly those weak in faith. Descriptions in Islamic texts include his being blind in one eye, marked by the Arabic letters Kfr, which signify disbelief. He is portrayed as a manipulative and dangerous figure who will sow chaos and division. His reign will last for a limited time, during which he will attempt to spread falsehood and mislead humanity from true worship of Allah. Like the Christian Antichrist, Dajjal's role is ultimately to test humanity's faith. Islamic tradition holds that his appearance is among the major signs of the Day of Judgment. His defeat will come through divine intervention, specifically through the hands of Jesus, known as Isa in Islam, who is prophesied to return to earth to confront and defeat Dajjal, reaffirming the unity and power of Allah. Comparing characteristics of the Antichrist and Dajjal. While there are significant theological differences between the two religions, the descriptions of the Antichrist and Dajjal share similarities. Both are described as deceivers, capable of performing miraculous signs, and both play a major role in leading people astray as a test of faith. Additionally, both are prophesied to be overcome by Jesus or Isa, reinforcing the notion of a divine resolution to their deceptions. In terms of physical characteristics, while the Bible does not provide specific details on the Antichrist's appearance, Islamic texts offer vivid depictions of Dajjal's appearance, notably his blindness in one eye and the distinguishing mark on his forehead. Such physical markers are thought to be a sign for believers, allowing them to recognize and resist his deception. Purpose and influence of the Antichrist, Dajjal. Both the Antichrist and Dajjal serve a similar purpose within their respective religious narratives. They symbolize the struggle between truth and falsehood, faith and deception, and serve as a test for believers, challenging them to remain steadfast in their faith. In Christianity, the Antichrist's rise is associated with the persecution of true believers and a period of intense tribulation that tests their devotion to Christ. In Islam, Dajjal's emergence is seen as a trial for humanity, requiring strength, patience, and discernment from believers. Islamic tradition emphasizes that Dajjal's power over people will not be absolute, and those firm in faith will be able to recognize his deceit. This is why many Islamic teachings encourage Muslims to memorize certain prayers or verses from the Quran that will protect them from Dajjal's influence. The defeat of the Antichrist and Dajjal. Both religious traditions culminate in the defeat of the Antichrist or Dajjal through divine intervention. Christianity holds that the second coming of Jesus will end the reign of the Antichrist, destroying him and establishing God's eternal kingdom. This event marks the triumph of Christ's righteousness over evil, bringing peace and salvation to believers. In Islam, the defeat of Dajjal is also linked to the return of Jesus, Isa. According to Islamic prophecy, Jesus will return to earth, confront Dajjal, and ultimately defeat him, reaffirming the truth of Allah's message and restoring faith in God's unity. This act also signifies the approach of the Day of Judgment, reinforcing the idea of divine justice and the inevitable defeat of evil. Conclusion: the figures of the Antichrist in Christianity and Dajjal in Islam represent one of the most intriguing parallels in the eschatological beliefs of these two religions. Despite their different religious contexts, both figures are described as powerful deceivers and key players in apocalyptic narratives, intended as tests of faith. Both traditions emphasize the need for believers to stay vigilant and faithful, affirming that ultimate victory will come from God's intervention through Jesus or Isa. The comparison highlights both the shared concerns and unique theological perspectives of Christianity and Islam, offering insight into how each faith envisions the end times and the challenges that humanity will face. Through these prophecies, believers in both religions find a call to faith, resilience, and trust in divine justice, which will ultimately prevail over deception and evil.